Welcome to this week's Total Football Podcast. My name is Declan Hare and I'm joined by Andrew Conway.
Hello.
And Matthias O'Flaherty.
Hello.
This week it's the North London Derby, United v United Derby, and the welcome return of the Champions League. Arsenal fans often sing a chant directed at Mesut Ozil saying he's better than Zidane, and while they're clearly being facetious, it is interesting to note that it is in fact Jack Wilshere who is currently looking like the late year Zidane thanks to the shaved head. Funny how that works.
It's, I appreciate Jack Wilshere for what he's done. It's not, some people get hair plugs. Some people fail to acknowledge the fact that they're getting older and they're going bald.
Like Wayne Rooney.
Like Wayne Rooney,
Antonio Conte.
Yeah. Like many players. But Jack Wilshere's embraced the opposite of that. He's gone and shaved his head. He's going to embrace the bald. The Stephen Ireland after failed hair plugs strategy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He tried that.
It's just a pity that Jack Wilshere is probably the worst sporting of the bald haircut out of all of those.
Well, it's early days from yet. He's still,
That's true.
The hair is still receding.
Yeah.
So even when he shaves it, there's still hair there.
Yeah, but the hair is shaped just like Zidane would have had that shaved head.
Just because Zidane was going bald as well.
Yeah.
He didn't shave it any particular way, I don't think. I think it was just him going bald.
But into the news, it was another heavy defeat it was another disappointing defeat rather. It wasn't heavy. But it was perhaps the most damaging of all defeats, away to North London rivals Tottenham, losing 1-0 thanks to a Harry Kane header. Who else would score? But it surely signals the end of Arsenal's top four hopes.
Yeah, at this point, it was a thin thread before this, but now they've 9 matches without keeping a clean sheet. Petr Cech's been waiting to break a record for 9 matches.
Yeah, he's looking for that 200th clean sheet in a Premier League match, and I remember them talking about it before the Liverpool match back in December.
Yeah, it was even it's been a long time coming, but Arsenal are cut adrift. It's a weird, and I know we're going to talk about it a bit more as the show goes on, but it's as if no one in the whole league wants to change position. No one can get a run of form together other than Manchester City. They all just keep, they'll win a couple of matches, maybe they're in good form, and then they're going to lose.
To be fair, Swansea are kind of proving
but
there's the slight exception.
Swansea, I wanted to come to that because Swansea are still within. There's 4 points separating the relegation zone.
And we will get to that.
But that is a tiny gap. That's under that's a 2-match turnout.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, the whole thing's making it impossible to do a last man standing.
Oh yeah.
Basically, it's an upset for all the form.
Bournemouth would have been your pick for the weekend. Yeah. They're top of the form table. Huddersfield are bottom, and they got beat 4-1.
Yeah, the FA Cup charges Huddersfield on, and they managed to turn that into a result in the league afterwards. But back to Arsenal, it is over. It was mostly over beforehand, bar some kind of ridiculous collapse from Chelsea, which I don't see happening.
But it needs two teams.
I know,
and it needs two
another
teams.
one happening. Even then, that's what I'm saying. It's such a long shot.
They're what, 5 points behind Chelsea, who have a game in hand. At this stage of the season,
Arsenal would have to win every game between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, at this stage of the season, it's probably a bit too much for them.
Yeah,
but they do also have the Europa League.
Yeah, and Wenger did come out today in his press conference to say that I'm not resting players anymore for the Europa League.
Yeah,
he's going to
that's back this week. They have Ostersund coming up.
But the problem there is Aubameyang, who was good for Arsenal even in that horrific performance against Spurs, especially in the second half. Aubameyang did have a run through on goal that was onside and it was disallowed. That could have, that would have been 1-0 to Arsenal. He did make good runs. Ozil played well, and Mkhitaryan played well, but they were isolated entirely from the rest of the Arsenal team, and that was partially down to Spurs and their high pressing game and just getting the tactics right, putting pressure on Arsenal's 2 slow, kind of injured centre backs, and just really forcing the full backs back. Arsenal had a problem last season where they were just, and it's for years now, their fullbacks push too far forward, so they leave gaps in behind them.
Yeah, Bayern, he was so frustrating to watch on Saturday, just because the amount, he did fine defensively, but that didn't mean much when they were already losing.
Yeah.
But every time he got forward and he got into a good position, he did nothing with the ball.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating to watch, just as a neutral.
He's a right back. It's not his.
But that's the duty. He is the one that crosses the ball the most at Arsenal.
The thing is, when it comes to fullbacks and the way they attack, first of all, Arsenal aren't set up to support attacking fullbacks.
There's no balance in the team.
They're absolutely not. And even after saying that, when you look at Arsenal's fullbacks, they're not all that good at going forward.
Yeah.
You know, they're just not. I mean, you'd look at City's fullbacks ahead of them, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Chelsea's better going forward than them. Liverpool's, I'd call them better going forward. Pretty much all the top teams have better attacking fullbacks. You know, so if you're going to attack, you need to upgrade that.
Well, there is Monreal as well, who's scoring a bunch just randomly.
Monreal's playing well in defence, but he's 31,
Yeah.
maybe 32.
And then they're from set pieces as well.
Yeah. Like, and that's a good skill to have, but like you're saying, like, there's no balance to the team. Wenger tried to, like, be clever in this match by playing two whole defensive midfielders.
Yeah.
And then playing Wilshere as the pivot point. But the problem was, you're playing three central midfielders in a 4-3-3 formation when the three central midfielders you have no pace between them. All three of those players can catch a Spurs player.
The thing as well is, like, Ozil, like, I don't want to, like, just throw Ozil under the bus because it's hard for him in these matches because they're not playing him to his potential. Like, they're sticking him out on the right, and it's easy enough to defend against him on the right when he's so isolated because he's always going to try and get on that left foot.
Yeah,
so,
and he came back deep multiple times in that match. And, like, a bit of criticism has fallen at Wilshere as well, but in fairness to Wilshere, all he did was chasing the ball all day. He was playing
there was very little he could do.
Like, a few times he got the ball. Like, I think he played that ball through for Aubameyang. That was out the side. Like, that was about it. In the second half, just Spurs turned it up a level, and Arsenal were very poor to accomplish. But going to the Europa League point, they don't have Aubameyang in the Europa League.
They do have Lacazette.
They only have Lacazette, and Lacazette is Arsenal, as you said, it was only 1-0. They were battered.
Yeah.
It was similar, like, on an inverse to the Man United Arsenal match earlier in the season, where one team was just peppering the goal but couldn't score. It was the same for Spurs.
They just lacked that counter-attacking threat.
Yeah, but Lacazette had a chance late on. It could have, like, completely undeservedly secured an equaliser for Arsenal. But, you know, Arsenal's horrific away form continues. Still only 3 wins.
From 14 now, I think.
Yeah, and I mean that's pretty terrible when you're looking to win a European competition. You know, you need to be at least able to set up shop and get a draw, grind out a draw away from home.
You need to be able to score away from home.
You need to be able to score. Yeah, I mean those are two of the most important things to do in a double-legged tie knockout competition.
Yeah, you need that away goal.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Crucial.
And I mean Arsenal are good enough to win the Europa League. But having said that, I don't think they will. I think there's too many other strong teams in there.
Atletico, Napoli, Dortmund.
The hope for Arsenal there maybe is that those clubs might not take it as seriously as Arsenal because they don't have as much riding on.
Napoli will probably be going for Serie A.
I think Milan are the other team like Arsenal that really need to win the Europa League.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely clear on the rules. If Napoli and Arsenal were to play in the final and Napoli qualified through the league, would Arsenal get their spot?
No, Arsenal.
Does it go to Italy then?
No,
it's just
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And then Tottenham's top 4 rivals, Manchester United, also lost this weekend. Jose Mourinho's terrible record at St James's Park continues. He's yet to win there in 7 league matches between United and Chelsea. But it wasn't the defeat itself that was damaging for United. Like, I don't think they're going to drop out of the top 4 because of this result anyway, but it was just how much Mourinho got wrong in this match. It was just he got everything wrong essentially.
He was just paying respect to Mr. Robson, and he continues to do that. He does not want to lose to Mr. Robson's club, and that's he talked about. He eulogized him beforehand and afterwards.
Yeah.
He was actually kind to Rafa Benitez and said anything bad about Rafa Benitez. Had a few digs at other clubs for some.
I think he had a dig at Arsenal.
He had a dig at Arsenal, which was like completely. It was to do with Sanchez, and Sanchez has played for a club that wanted to had aspirations to win the Champions League, and then he moved to England.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Well, everyone wants to win.
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to." It's a funny, just jab out of nowhere. But yeah, Mourinho just does not have a good They played exactly the same way against Newcastle earlier in the season when they played at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
but that time United were they weren't.
They were playing better form. Like Pogba was sensational that match,
but they went behind in that match as well.
Yeah,
and like Newcastle, like Mourinho was cruel to Newcastle because he was saying, how he's praising them, but he was wrong because as he was saying, he was wrong about everything in the match. He was saying, Newcastle came to draw this match, and they didn't really. No. They played open, near the end it was hanging on.
I really want to actually commend Newcastle because they really played it their heart on their sleeve in this match. Like they were the new goalkeeper Dubravka, I think is his name, made his debut. He was sensational on goals. He made 2 really crucial saves right at the end. And Carl Darlow as well.
Well, Rob Elliott is
that's true.
a good keeper that's just like
but then
battered.
Lejuan, or however you say his name, and Lascelles were phenomenal at centre back. Like they made 2 or 3 goal line clearances by themselves as well.
The chance right in the 93rd minute or 94th minute when Carrick had the shot saved right at the death. Right before that, there was one of the best challenges I've seen all season from one. I don't remember which centre back it was, but he slid in and just made complete 100% contact with the ball and go near the player, and it was out at the 6-yard box. And the player running at you.
I think that was on Sanchez.
It was amazing. Like, couldn't believe it. The Man United player that he'd been tackled in that position.
And like they had a few of those kind of tackles as well.
But the other side of it is Newcastle pushed on. They attacked.
They almost scored a second.
But there were multiple times where they were breaking,
and they were denied a penalty in the first half as well.
But it's also worth saying that Sanchez hasn't improved United's attack at all yet. And I mean, I think
he's hindered it.
I think so too. If you look, I can't remember where I saw the stat, but he's been dispossessed twice as much as any other player since moving. Yeah,
like he had a 64% pass completion rate against Newcastle. Like that's dreadful. He had no shots on target. Didn't create no key passes at all.
I mean, he just had a bad game against Newcastle, but at the same time, he's like United's forwards have kind of been rotating a lot. You know, there's not all that much difference between Lingard, Rashford, Martial, the rest of them. You know, you wouldn't say that one's clearly superior. Sanchez should be. You know, he should be a level above that. He shouldn't be falling into mediocrity with the rest of them. He should be standing out every game. You know, that's kind of what he's expected to do at United. And really, I don't think it's all that harsh to say anything less than that is a bit of a failure. Yeah, like there's a huge expectation on him as well. And the thing is, he's stifling Martial as well by Mourinho wanting to put Martial on the right. Like he just doesn't work on the right. He's not the same player on the right.
I personally think, well, one, I think it is very early to judge.
Yes, obviously.
Complete judgment.
Yeah, that's true.
Sanchez, he has to get to know his teammates. He is different from all those other Man United players who are very much dependent on pace, very much dependent on running over the top. You know, Lingard, Martial, that's the way they play. Sanchez is a much more technical player. He's a lot less pace. He has good stamina. He kind of harries teams. Like he played okay in terms of his pressing and attacking by defending against Newcastle. He created openings. None of them led to anything, and it wasn't. I think it was a collective poor performance from that Manchester United team. They weren't very cohesive again, and they weren't able to cope with a team that actually, we're going to just.
There's just such a lack of a plan.
Yeah, but I mean, it's those games. It's those games against lower teams where they will shut up shop and defend a lot and deep. That's when you need your technical players to come out.
Yeah, true. And this is the problem. All of last season, if you remember, when Man United kept drawing matches, they had the worst unbeaten record in probably history, where they just couldn't lose, but they couldn't win to save themselves either. And it's kind of reminiscent of that, even though they've, you can make judgments about their outgoings and everything like that, but they should at this point be a bit better at trying to break things down, because it is not great, but that is modern football in top flight league, where it is going to be one team attacking, one team defending.
Like the other thing as well is, like, I feel bad for Lukaku as well, because like he's got a clear strength of he's very good. You get him in the box, you supply him with crosses, and the best crosser of the ball at United is probably actually Lukaku.
Really? You think he's the best crosser of the ball?
He actually has a good cross on him. I've seen him put in a few good crosses.
But why do you spend 100 million on Paul Pogba? Like, because what's Paul Pogba's game if he's not passing the ball to the striker? If he's not running through the middle? No, but he passes the ball, but he's not crossing the ball in from the wing, is what I mean. Don't play him out there. Because he's doing nothing in the middle.
Yeah, they probably should.
Like, just try something different. Look, going back to your Martial point, like, and bringing Lukaku into it, I personally think, like, they spent... It's not like Martial's a kid. They spent 50 plus million on Martial.
Yeah, but they're just playing him out of position.
Yeah, but play him up front. That was his position. When he was at Monaco a couple of years ago, he was the next Thierry Henry before Mbappe came around.
He's actually kind of the inverse Thierry Henry, because like Henry did start out on the left and came centrally.
Yeah, but play him. I want you to play him up front, because he's not played up front because he's not trusted. We can't play a lightweight single centre forward.
No, but the problem there, like the thing is with Martial, he just isn't as good with his back to goal.
That's what I mean. You don't. That's the problem. Is you don't need to have a centre forward who will play with the back to goal.
I mean,
but that's just how United have played.
Yeah, the problem is United haven't bought as smart as City have. They haven't got a long term goal in mind. They don't know how they want to play.
There's no vision, no
City
plan.
Don't have one player who can play back to goal.
They don't need to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Arsenal have sold all of their players that can play back to goal. Liverpool have sold all of their players that can play back to goal. Like, Chelsea bought another one.
Yeah.
And Spurs, kind of Harry Kane is somewhere in between because
he can kind of just do
outside
it all.
forward. Yeah, he's an all-rounder. And they have Llorente, who is that back to goal. But he was for sailing Christmas.
Yeah.
So, you know, the football is changing. Like you can go look at the big European teams. Like, very few of them have that type of player. Like, it was in vogue for a while, and Mourinho was the leader of that kind of vogue. Like, finding Didier, or not finding, but like really bringing out the greatness in Didier Drogba.
Yeah.
Doing the same to a lesser extent with Benzema in a different way at Real Madrid, and somewhat as well at Inter Milan with Eto'o and Milito and a few other players away, kind of Ibrahimovic as well before they sold him. Like, that's his style, and fair enough, that is Mourinho's style of football. He wants to play where he has a big man up front who can bring in his attacking midfielders into it, and he's a one target man. But like, the game is right, especially when you have the resources of Man United. I'm not saying that they can go out and spend it, but the resources they have within the club. They've got Marcus Rashford, who is criminally underused and put out in the wing too much. They have Anthony Martial, who is the same as Marcus Rashford, put out to the wing, like, so much so that you think of him as a winger when he's not. He's not an inverted striker like Arjen Robben. He's not going to cut in all the time, although that's where a lot of his goals have come from.
He is quite good at that as well.
But his better performances have always come where he's just played like push on, play up front, and he actually creates them. He causes havoc. He's a very good technical player, which is really overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
It's just sad that like this player is being stifled at Manchester United. Has been since he was signed.
But for all of that, I mean, United are still more consistent, picking up more points than the other teams going for top four.
Well, part of that is their early season form as well. Still,
if you were to look at the last 15 matches, I'd say Manchester United would not be. I could be completely proven wrong, and let me know, but I wouldn't say they'd be in the top two. That's for sure. They'd probably be outside the top.
Yeah,
four.
no, I'd say Liverpool would probably be in the top two because they have found form.
Yeah,
of the most
Liverpool
form
and Spurs
anyway.
and Man City have been by far the best team last
since about October.
Yeah,
October.
Like, Manchester United have hit a level where at the beginning of the season, okay, they have Lukaku. Lukaku's like Ibrahimovic from last year, but he actually moves.
Yeah.
We can't cope with this, and they kept winning matches late on because they just were like, it was overwhelming for them. And then since, teams have figured Manchester United out to an extent. And
and like the thing is, like, Mourinho is gonna die by this 4-2-3-1. He loves it so much, but it just doesn't play to the players' strengths. Like, they played a 4-3-3 against Everton at the turn of the year, and it was their best performance since then. Like, they haven't played as well since then, and it was just like, I feel bad saying that. I feel bad for Lukaku having to say this because I don't think he's had a bad season necessarily, and I think the team's just not playing to his strengths.
Yeah.
But if you take him out of the team and play another midfielder, that's probably the best team United could put out.
Yeah, and that's, and I think Mourinho is cutthroat enough to do that. But I think he is currently in some kind of turf war battle with other players in the team.
Yeah, he's
ostracised Lindelof completely. Where is he?
Yeah, and like the thing
Luke
is,
Shaw is in and out of the side. He's getting started a few runs, and then it's kind of like Luke Shaw saying, I want to spend my career at Manchester United, and then he's dropped. Or this week, Mourinho said, he's probably the best left back in the league, and then he doesn't even play him against Newcastle. Yeah, Ashley Young is still there.
Yeah, like, Ashley Young, good player for United over the years, but he's not a left back.
No, but that's what they have. Like, it's a very strange thing. You can make arguments that they spent all the money and they haven't fixed Smalling and Jones. But Smalling and Jones have been sought after by all the other clubs.
Did you see Smalling's dive yesterday? It was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. And then they score the goal from the free kick from the dive.
But there was a lot of things that happened between that free kick being taken and that goal being scored.
Not that much.
Well, Pogba and Matic, both of them failing to go for one ball.
No, but when you consider the fact that he didn't need to give away that free kick at all.
True, but he couldn't have known. It was bad defending. Like, the first header wasn't one. That was, I think, a bigger error than the dive.
It's just
it's a free kick
bad
at the halfway line.
Yeah,
it's not the end of the word. It's not a penalty.
Like, it was just it was an overall bad performance. Like, I can't remember. I think it was Lascelles that came out today, Monday, and said Chris Smalling and Phil Jones were clearly not comfortable on the ball, so we exploited that.
Yeah,
like, just everything at United at the moment is,
bit of
a mess. But then the relegation race has heated up again this week. It's so unpredictable. Like, it's 11 games left and we still have absolutely no idea who's going to go down.
I mean, yeah, you're calling United a mess. Look at some of these teams.
Yeah.
West Ham seem to be the most dysfunctional team that will survive in the last 15 years.
Well, I wouldn't call them dysfunctional.
They
are a mess.
though. They are dysfunctional.
They are very
not as a
dysfunctional.
side dysfunctional, but
Alright, the football seems to be a lot more functional than the
Yeah.
rest of the club. But
Like
I mean,
David Moyes is showing that he is actually an organised
he is actually, yeah. I mean,
and Sunderland might have been a
Sunderland
weird.
Sunderland
aberration.
last year were going down regardless.
They're
you know.
going down
yeah,
this
they've
year.
been
They're going-
dysfunctional for the last 5 years, though.
Like,
So.
yeah, it's hard to blame David Moyes for that, but he didn't show much at United and he didn't show much
Yeah.
at Sociedad in
Yeah,
Spain.
yeah.
So it's nice to see him come back and do something again. But I mean, at this point, it's looking a bit like West Brom and Stoke are the two teams in trouble of detaching. I think West Brom are 5 points.
They're 7 points off Huddersfield.
7 points off
Who are in
Huddersfield.
17th.
Yeah, so I mean, West Brom need to turn something around quickly because they're, out of all the teams that sacked their manager, they're the one that haven't shown a big uptick in form.
They do have a game tonight against Chelsea as well. I'm not saying they're going to win that, but if they do,
I mean,
West Brom have no goals. That's
Yeah.
their major
that
problem.
yeah. I mean, and Burnley can show that you don't need goals
True.
to do well.
Bur-
But Burnley are picking their goals brilliantly,
Yeah.
you know, and they're also brilliantly defensively. Whereas West Brom are just, I think it's the same amount of goals, 21. Am I right in saying that?
21 and 21 it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Burnley are such a weird side because looking at the table, Burnley play into the whole thing of like no one wants to change position in the Premier League. Burnley are in 7th place,
Yeah.
and they've barely moved their points total in the last 2 months.
To be fair, they did create a bit of a gap.
Yeah, but they're still there. But the points difference between themselves and Arsenal is the same it was a month and a half ago.
Yeah, it's
and
9
Arsenal
points
have
between
lost
them.
a bunch of games. You know, it's not. You know, they could be anywhere at this point. They could be the Champions
Yeah,
League.
if
zone.
Burnley really wanted to, they
yeah.
could have
Yeah.
gone for at least
Yeah.
6.
Like these, the poor performances of the top sides are as bad as they were when Leicester won the league.
yeah, and to be apart from City, obviously.
Apart from City,
Disclaimer.
if there wasn't a City this season, there could easily have been another
If
Leicester.
there wasn't a City, this would be again the league where anything could happen. Because I mean, Burnley are on 36 points right now. You would imagine that doesn't get you relegated. At the same time,
If
if
they
they,
go on-
play like this for the next 11 games,
No, I think 36 points. I don't think it's 40 points this season. I think it's 36.
It could well be, and there could be. I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the last game of the season. There's 6 teams in, like, potentially could go
Yeah,
down.
like what was it,
I mean-
2005 that year?
There was only 4 could go down, but they all had a
Yeah,
chance.
they were all in the relegation zone.
And the
I
team
mean-
that started bottom of the day
Yeah, West
survived.
the problem I have with this is that there's 11 games left, and Stoke are on 25 in 19th.
Yeah,
That's what, 11 points in 11 games.
yeah.
That's relegation form, and according to you, 36 points.
I
That could
think-
still keep them up.
Like, that's a bit of a disgrace when you consider that's not even a point a game.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough.
I mean, right. Having said that, I don't see Stoke getting it unless they change something. You know,
Unless they manage to draw every match.
Which they could do.
They could
Which
do.
I would,
You know?
they can do
Paul
that.
Lambert's
I'd actually
is a good
give it to
manager,
them.
like-
the problem with Stoke is their running. I'm fairly sure they have 5 of the top 6 to play. They
Yeah, I
have
can't
one
remember
of
them playing.
Yeah, they have one of the worst run-ins.
So they need
of-
to get points in the next few matches.
Yeah.
otherwise
Yes,
they're in
exactly.
trouble.
And they've kind of missed the boat on that. They played a lot of their
Yeah, they're rivals.
Yeah, they're
The thing as
rivals
well is
recently.
Crystal Palace, we all thought were doomed for relegation 7 games into the season, but then Roy the Boy came in.
Did you
and
see Roy Hodgson's interview with BBC Match the day after the match?
that? No, that was a few years old.
Was it?
Yeah, it came up West Brom 2, Bolton 1.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, it was before he was England manager.
I
Okay.
haven't seen this.
But it's an
it was,
incredible
I thought
clip.
it was
You
a
should-
daily.
I think it was
yeah, he
Vinny-
was swearing at the BBC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know who it was on Twitter that put it up. I know Daniel Harris has it up on Twitter, so I think
Yeah.
I saw him tweet it. But look it up on Twitter. I don't know if it was on anywhere else. It's an incredible 2-minute clip, but that was a few years old.
Yeah, but like, yeah, he's done a good job. You know,
But they don't have Wilfred Zaha now for the next 4 to 6
Yeah.
weeks, I think.
I think Zaha made more of an impact before Hodgson took over than after Hodgson took
No,
over.
but
I would
he
agree.
missed the first 7 games.
No, but I know that. But there was Zaha's coming back. Zaha's going to do it.
Yeah.
For Crystal Palace, and then it kind of just petered out.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. But
Yeah,
I
like,
mean,
they're-
Hodgson, like they're still not safe.
No,
by
no
any
one's
means.
Yeah, they're on
Like,
27 points at the
and
moment.
they're like even their form isn't all that great, but they can definitely hit 36 points. They can
Yeah.
probably
Three
hit,
wins.
Yeah, I mean...
So looking at right now, who do you think is going down? I think we're all in agreement at West Brom.
Yeah, I think
because
West Brom
they just don't have the goals, and they're still leaky in defence. Like Pardew does tend to get a kind of bounce, but it's not seeming to happen.
The bounce happens immediately, and it hasn't happened at all, except for that Liverpool match. But that was the cut.
But it's West Brom as well against Liverpool. There's a
they seem to be a bogey team. Yeah,
and I mean,
but we're okay with them. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we did our predictions. When did we do them?
Oh, we did the
beginning of December.
Yeah,
sometime around then. I think that was one of the shows Andrew missed. At that point, I think my predictions were Swansea, West Brom, and who's the last?
I think Palace.
No, I remember saying not Palace. I was very clear on saying not Palace. I think I might have said West Ham.
We might look back at that.
We might have to look back at that. But at this point, we're probably going to pick three completely different teams.
True.
Both of us, because it's just...
Well, we're happy with West Brom.
Yeah,
happy with West Brom.
What about
Southampton are in there at the moment.
Southampton need to change
who can't
things.
score, won't sack their manager.
It's just they feel like a team kind of like Newcastle back when they did go down the first time.
I don't think they're that bad
because that Newcastle
down,
maybe.
No, I don't think Southampton are not too big to go down. But that Newcastle team was dysfunctional.
See,
this Southampton team just can't score.
The thing with this Southampton team is they've got less wins than anybody but West Brom, but they've got more draws than anybody.
Yeah.
All they need to do is turn two of those draws into a win.
Southampton are a 7th to 8th place team.
That's what I mean when I say too big.
They just don't have a centre forward, and that is the big commodity in the Premier League at the moment is centre forwards, and they just don't have one that can score, and not many teams do, which is kind of helping them because they're keeping clean sheets or they're staying in matches for longer.
But I just feel that they don't lose nearly as many games as the team around them. All they need to do is turn one or two of those draws into a win, even if it's just luck. That's all they need.
But they played Liverpool this weekend. Weren't bad at all.
No.
It was two pretty good moves by Liverpool that were the 2 goals, and that was it. The match was over.
Yeah,
that's Southampton.
Yeah,
but do you think Southampton will actually go down?
I wouldn't put them in my bottom 3. I think, like you said, it could be there's worse teams, but they could still go down. There is a lot of worse teams than...
Who are the 3 teams that you think will go down? West Brom?
Something has to change at Stoke rapidly, or that's going to happen too. Because I think it's not beyond them, but I think if they lose another 2 or 3 games in a row, it will be.
I think my 3 would be West Brom, Stoke, and Huddersfield.
I would also make... That's not a bad shout. You see, the problem is they're all so tight together, and all of them have changed their manager.
Yeah.
Paul Lambert's a good manager, and I could see him.
He's not really had an impact there, though.
No, but I could see him nailing draws because what they were doing before was just they were just losing badly and losing
11
a lot of goals
in a row. Was it possible?
It could happen.
Could it?
Watford is another team that's a watching team.
Watford
gathered a lot of points at the end of the season, switched the manager up for the obvious Marco Silva thing we've discussed it before. And there's been there's been no upswing. They've won a couple of matches now.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about them beating Chelsea 4-1 last week.
No, and that was a great result for them.
But then they followed it up with the defeat this weekend.
Yeah. And they're bad. They're not creating enough, and they're just that's a goal in, and that's it. Yeah. They're shutting down after that.
And they're only 4 points off relegation. You
exactly.
Still think of them
they
as
have
being high up the
27
table.
points.
Yeah,
but and the same Newcastle are still there. Newcastle were in that relegation zone until they won that match.
Any of the bottom 10, I think Bournemouth are 10th and 31 points.
Yeah.
So they are 5 points clear of relegation. Yeah. Anybody then below can go down. Yeah. I would say Everton, I think, are safe enough at 34 points.
Just because it's just out of default.
There's so many teams.
Yeah. And I mean, out of those teams, it obviously depends who's got the worst form. But what you have to kind of look at is who's been consistent over the season picking up these points, not who's had one really great surge and then a bad surge, because I think those are the teams in trouble. I think the consistent ones are going to probably stay up. Yeah. And I think the most consistent would be Brighton, I think.
Yeah, I could see.
I think Brighton have been chugging away quite nicely.
Yeah, they're picking up. They're gradually picking up points rather than going on big runs.
Exactly. They're always kind of 14th, 15th, but they're never down 17th, 18th.
Yeah.
They're never in direst form.
And I think unless something goes drastically wrong there, I think they'll stay up. Mm-hmm. I think Newcastle are pretty much the same and should stay up.
Too good to go down. So
West Ham and Watford, I wouldn't be nearly as certain. The two of them, I can see either of those losing the next 5 games and going into complete meltdown.
Yeah.
I'd still say it's more likely with Watford. I'd agree that they're more in danger of it. I think West Ham will stay up.
Yeah, I don't think Moyes will let that happen.
No,
No. Well, they have a lot more firepower than Sunderland.
They
this West Ham team is a lot better than that Sunderland.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah.
I think I'd agree with Stoke. I'd agree with West Brom. And it's hard enough to tell from there on. Huddersfield.
Swansea are an amazing
Who
form.
are the three teams?
I would say Watford. No, I'm already second guessing myself.
Yeah.
You see, they're all none of them are. You say they're all bad, but then none of them are truly awful. And the teams that are truly awful are teams like Stoke, who have now hired a good manager, who can try and be a bit more organised with the skill level they have. But yeah, Stoke, West Brom, and
it's like 10 teams to fit into one spot.
Yeah. See, the problem is, if I knew the fixtures, even that could give a help. Because Swansea, I think I would have said they were going down, except they had most of their big team games are out of the way,
and they won those big team games.
They had Tottenham, they had Liverpool, they've had their big games. Now they've kind of got the teams around them. Exactly. So you don't know. Otherwise, I'd probably still say them, regardless of the good form. But now, I think they will stay up. I think Palace, it's hard to tell. I'm still going to say Palace are going to stay up. I think it's either Huddersfield or Southampton going in that last spot.
And I'm probably in agreement with you there.
Well, I'll tell you what they should do, though.
What?
Relegate everyone 11th.
Just make it a Super League.
I mean...
bring in 10 teams from the Championship.
There are
spread the wealth.
There are a lot of good Championship teams.
That would be interesting.
Very. So we're going West Brom, Stoke, and either Southampton or Huddersfield.
If Southampton don't change things.
Yeah. If they do, it could still backfire on them,
Yeah.
It hasn't for all of the teams who've changed it so far, but I'd say in most cases that's because they upgraded manager rather than just, with the possible exception of Paul Clement, who I think is a very good manager who just had a bit of bad luck.
Yeah.
That said, Carvajal's been magnificent with them.
He has.
That'll do us for the news. Join us after the break where we'll preview the Champions League. It's been a long old wait, but we're almost there. This Tuesday, it's the long-awaited return of the Champions League. We looked at the round of 16 draw when it was made back in early December, but it's been a long time since then, and a lot has changed. So without further ado, this coming Tuesday, we've got a pretty big match, I think. Juventus host Tottenham. I think it's weird because we would have expected back in August that it would be Tottenham coming second in the group and Juventus winning the group, but it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So there's a slight power dynamic shift there.
Yeah. And go on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's probably... I was about to say it's the most anticipated game for me, and then I thought, wait, no, Real Madrid, PSG.
Yeah, there's a lot of big games.
Chelsea, Barcelona.
It's a good draw. No doubt, we discussed before. It's a lovely draw.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's funny because, say, when the draw was made, Spurs were not in good form.
No.
That was kind of the end of
the Champions League was their saving grace.
That was, and you say, Spurs are going to, the Champions League might be what they need at that point. They might be out of the top four.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Arsenal earlier, they might have to go after the Champions League. But in contrast, they kind of used the break from European football, and could be worrying for them. They've used the break from European football to focus on the league, and that maybe will start catching up with them now. Since they do have a tight squad.
I agree.
They didn't make a lot of signings, and the signings they have made, they haven't really thrown them in that much.
Yeah, I haven't seen Lucas Moura play.
I think in going to that point of too many games, it's worth noting that the two top 6 teams in the worst form right now are the two that made it all the way to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
There's definitely a link between more games, worse performances, and I think Tottenham are probably the most susceptible to that because they've a very
tight squad.
Yeah, they're like
and
Liverpool.
They do a lot of running.
Yeah, I think them and Liverpool are the most in danger of that because they just don't have the depth. That Chelsea have 2 or 3 players. I know we talked about their problems before, but they still have 2 or 3 quality players that don't fit in the team every time.
Yeah.
And I think Liverpool and Tottenham, there's quite a steep gap.
Yeah. They're bringing in youth players. And
exactly.
They're bringing in players who don't play lest we forget Sissoko is still at Spurs.
But the thing is as well, like Juventus, they haven't conceded a goal to a European player since November.
Yeah, Juventus, like for all we've just said about Spurs and them being, they beat the European champions Real Madrid and they drew with them and they played very, very well in both of them. They beat Dortmund and cost the manager his job effectively and knocked them into the Europa League when they weren't even, the Spurs weren't even second favourites for that group, but they won the group.
Yeah.
That's can be applauded, but looking back now, maybe that form was a bit hit. It was shrouding the real reality of the situation. Like Zidane is hanging on by a thread at Madrid.
Yeah.
Dortmund sacked their manager and lost some of their
6-7 games in a row,
and their one of their best players was sold. A lot of things were not right at both of those clubs and continue to not be right at both those clubs. Maybe Spurs were inflated in a way. I would back Juventus. Like we saw, Juventus finished second in their group. They were in a group with Barcelona.
Yeah, and Juventus always start the season slowly.
Yeah,
they do,
and come into form in the second half.
They're
of the
right
season.
up there in Serie A. They're up there with this fantastic Napoli side, but 1 point separating the top of the league. They're way ahead of everyone else in Serie A.
Yeah, like we talk about the Premier League teams not being able to find consistency. Both Napoli and Juventus have found amazing form.
They just win.
They both keep just winning and winning well.
This is Juventus's, I think, second or third best points total at this point in history.
Yeah.
This is a club who's won how many Serie A's? They're one of the best teams in
Italy.
6 in a row. This is still the best season out of those 6. As good as Tottenham are, and they are a very good team. I don't see them winning. Juventus are just top 3 in Europe right now. For me,
I've forgotten the name of the Allegri, Max Allegri, Juventus manager. As we've said before, Spurs are so dependent on Harry Kane.
Yeah.
He scored the goal at the weekend. If he didn't score that header and got up ahead of Koscielny, that match probably would have finished 0-0.
It's a disappointing.
He did it. He was the difference between the two teams, and he's done it countless times this season, including against Real Madrid. I think Allegri's going to put men on him.
Allegri's a very smart man.
Khedira is going to be dropped deep. That's what's going to happen.
And Juventus do have the players to stifle almost anybody, So unless Harry Kane comes with a breakout performance, we see the next Messi in him.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
So are we all in agreement that Juventus
to take a narrow 2-1 victory?
Yeah,
and then a more easier one to predict. I think Man City play Basel on the Tuesday as well.
I'd be surprised if we'll see, but I'd be surprised if Pep puts out full teams for both of those matches.
Yeah, we saw Man United play against Basel. Man United were didn't they lose to Basel?
Yeah,
I think they lost, but they were still pretty comfortable. They were through in the group at that point.
Yeah.
Is it away or home first?
Away
first. I could see Man City going with the full team away, and then
they'll win 2-0
something
like that away from home,
taking the foot off.
No one's ever come back from a 2-0 away deficit, I don't think.
And then the Wednesday, the big match which you alluded to a minute ago, Paris Saint-Germain go to the Bernabeu. Huge match.
I mean, I think I was going to say it's the match between the two highest quality teams, and then I remember just how bad Real Madrid have been.
And then PSG have problems as well.
Yeah, they do. But I think PSG have less problems. I mean, I think it's a little overblown what some people are saying about the situation there. They're obviously not quite as happy with, the new man Neymar and the whole drama going around backstage at the club. But they've still, if you look at the Champions League record, it's been absolutely terrifying. And some cracks have appeared over the winter. It hasn't been the best Christmas period for them, but I still I just think they're a really good team. They're set up to do well in Europe against other good teams. The thing you've got to weigh that against is Real Madrid's absolute ridiculous record in Europe over the last few years.
And the other aspect of this as well is the complete and utter embarrassment that was last season at the Nou Camp.
Yeah.
That has to be remembered. We can't forget that.
Yeah, I watching that game, the first leg that they won 4-0. That was
they
for me.
completely destroyed Barcelona.
I came out of that thinking this is PSG's moment.
That seemed like a coming of age.
Exactly,
moment.
That was the moment. Now PSG, now PSG are possible European champions. This is the step they've needed to take to get up there with Barcelona Real. And then
the second leg was probably on recent years the only match to match the 7-1 World Cup semi-final.
Yeah. Only one that's come close anyway.
Yeah.
But who do we see actually getting through in this match?
You see, I was going to say that like both teams in recent weeks have basically been on autopilot.
Yeah.
Real Madrid have actually won a few matches in the last few weeks. PSG just win matches for fun in France. They won the league. They'll win the league by the middle of March. It'll be mathematically certain. So both teams are just waiting for this. It's like there's talk in Brazil where they've moved Carnival. They've moved the judgment of Carnival to a different time so that people can get home and watch the PSG versus Real Madrid match to watch Neymar to see what happens. You know, it's that important culturally. It'll be the same. You know, Paris doesn't have as crazy football fans as other cities, but it'll be a big deal in Paris. And Madrid is obviously a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's Zidane's job, and he's made it very clear. Like, he knows this is it.
Yeah.
He knows that probably even if, no matter what happens between now and the end of the season, this is his last few months as Real Madrid manager. He's going to be got rid of one way or the other.
Would they sack him if he won the Champions League?
Yeah. They did it to Bosk because he didn't win the league.
Yeah.
And he won the Champions League with like amazing.
Worse.
Well, he had Figo, Ronaldo.
He did, yeah. But
Like
I'd say it's a
Steve
worse. I'd still say it's a worse team than this Real Madrid, because this Real Madrid team has won everything. You know,
I
think.
But it's on the way down. It's clear. It was on the way down. We said it like we would say it last season when they were on their way down, coming to that final. I didn't think they were going to beat Juventus, but it turns out, wow, Juventus defenders really are that old.
Yeah,
and
they had turmoil as well at half time, which led to Bonucci leaving.
Yeah. So it was under pressure at the time, but they did it.
You've got to. The thing is, I think Real Madrid still do have the one-off performances in them. You know,
but not even in the Champions League, they were bad. Like they barely.
Yeah, but it's the group stages. You know,
they came second in their group last season as well.
Yeah, I think it's harder to hype yourself up for the group stage games than it is for big European titles.
If they come through this side, Real Madrid, that is, I think they will be back to be favourites in the Champions League.
So do you think PSG will win then?
Yes.
Do you think PSG will win?
I think we're going to get 2 good games of football.
There's going to be a lot of goals because neither team can defend.
Yeah, I don't
Dani
think
Alves in goals, like
because
for people who didn't see, he had to go on goals and he took 3 minutes putting on his gloves and then didn't even get a touch of the ball while being in goals.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I think Neymar to be good, not great. Mbappe to really shine. Ronaldo to score 2 goals, and PSG still to go through.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to go against the two of you here. I think Madrid are going to win this.
They don't have the pace or control.
I just think that PSG are so mentally fragile that I think that they're afraid of that next step. Unai Emery isn't the man for PSG.
I think
Real Madrid have that experience. I think they'll do it.
I think with the pain of last year, I think with the inclusion of Dani Alves, who's a serial winner, I think Cavani and Verratti, these big players in the PSG dressing room, wanting to take the next step, I think that's all going to be enough to get.
But it was Verratti last season there was this, it's now a famous video because just before the second leg they sat down and had a meal together, 4 players. Verratti was one of them. I can't remember the other 3, but they said, we'd take a 3-0 defeat or a 5-1 defeat or something like that.
That's losing before you go out. I acknowledge there is psychological damage and there is probably issues in this team, but like you said, Dani Alves is there now. Serial winner. He just wins. Like, he was so angry that Juventus lost the Champions League last season. Neymar is there. This is the only thing he wants to do. Now, he has been suspect in the past of trying too much when he's been the main man. But you have 3 players, and Mbappe is the other one I was going to mention, that are hungry. That are always hungry for victory and winning. And they want to prove a point. Like Mbappe, Madrid wouldn't pay the money for Mbappe that PSG would. And he wanted to go to Real Madrid. He's got a point to prove in this match. Cavani, Verratti, other players in that like Thiago Silva, they do crumble under pressure. They've shown in the past. Cavani multiple times. If you think back to 2012 when Chelsea played Napoli, and there was the season Chelsea went on to win the Champions League, he could have put the match well beyond Chelsea's reach, and they ended up losing.
Because he's known for missing these chances.
But now Mbappe's there. Now Neymar's there. If Cavani misses, there's 2 other great players that are going to do it for him.
I feel that sort of that spine now has a stronger mentality, and I think the hurt from last year will help because like that Chelsea 2012 win, Bayern, according to the Bayern Munich players, that the pain of losing that final won it for them next year.
But I don't think PSG have that mental strength like Bayern Munich do.
I think that it's these big players, the Dani Alves and the Neymars, who are going to give it to the rest of them, because it's not, you say we're talking about individuals, but individual mentality is definitely affected by the group. and I think they brought in enough strong mentalities to help, to get the rest of them over the line.
They're also going to introduce, like, Motta's out of this match, so that means Rabiot or another young, hungry player is going to play in his place. Now, this might be not very defensively sound, but it means more attacking, more ammunition for the three strikers.
Yeah, one thing I'm pretty certain of is there will be goals in this match.
And that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of a team that scores a lot of goals, Liverpool will be playing Wednesday. They've got a long awaited return to the European Cup knockout tie. They've got Porto away.
Porto have been indifferent this season.
Yeah, Portugal in general is...
Like, they did very well in the Champions League. Like, they put out Monaco.
Yeah.
That was a tough group.
But they don't have the depth to continue, to do a long term. We've seen this before with better Porto sides, with Falcao was in them and Hulk was in them, and them falling at this hurdle.
They just seem to, I think the one time Mourinho got it over Manchester United, they don't seem to beat English clubs.
No, I don't think there's a mental block there, but they just don't have that overall quality. And as we said before, Monaco are a bit of a basket case for part of the first half of the season.
And RB Leipzig were kind of inexperienced.
Yeah.
I mean, all that said, for me, this is the most likely upset.
Really?
Yeah, because I think, you can look at the Shakhtar game, but I don't think there's any real favourite there.
Yeah, I think that's the most balanced.
Exactly. I think that's too balanced to be an upset either way.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I can, Liverpool, for all that they've improved and for all the great form they're in, I still look at that defence and think there's goals there. And, Porto are a good enough team.
Yeah, they're good attacking.
They're good attacking. They're good defending. They're just a good team. You know, they're not brilliant at anything. They're not fantastic, but they're a good all-around team. And if Liverpool have an off day, if they let their concentration slip, if they make one or two silly mistakes, they could go out. I'm not saying they will. I still think they're favourites, but I can see an upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I disagree because I just think the Liverpool side has enough going for it.
I would agree.
They're set up well to do well in the Champions League.
Klopp is a good European manager.
Yeah.
He's proven it multiple times.
He's gotten to a Champions League and a Europa League final.
And he's done it with limited resources both times. And he got back to Champions League semi-final, if you remember the following year, didn't he, or the quarter-final?
It was, quarter-final.
But he beat, it was good. He scored 3 goals against Madrid away, I think. And Madrid
Lewandowski scored 4 in one match.
But that was the match they won the following year. They scored 3, they almost went through, and Real Madrid went on to win that tournament.
And the same year they only got through against Malaga by an offside that shouldn't have been given.
And so incredible though.
Yeah, incredible game. But at the same time, there's a bit of luck. There's always luck. There's always luck.
Yeah, you like that.
And I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to say that they can't do it. I think they are favourites. I think they are the better team. And I think they should go through. But if that sort of luck goes against them, I think Porto are a good enough team to be close enough to Liverpool that if they get that bit of luck, Porto could win it.
Yeah.
I can see an upset.
I think Liverpool will go through, but I think I don't think anyone's going to actually watch this match besides Liverpool fans. But if you do choose to watch it, I think it would be an entertaining match.
Yeah, I think it'll be open, and I think Porto kind of played a possession-based counter-attacking style in the first half of the season, which kind of plays into Liverpool's hands a bit. Yeah. So it could be an exciting match similar to Man City playing Liverpool. So for Liverpool fans out there, it could be interesting.
Something to look forward to, certainly.
Yeah, we'll find out 5 minutes after the PSG Real Madrid match.
Yeah. And then the following week, Bayern hosts Besiktas, and it's kind of it's a bit harsh on Besiktas because they did so well to top the group, first Turkish side to top Champions League group.
They're very good team.
Bayern are just in incredible form. They've won the Bundesliga, so they can focus on the Champions League now, and they are an incredible Champions League side.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible luck for Besiktas. Yeah. I mean, this is probably the best Turkish team to play in the Champions League for
some time. Yeah,
certainly the best Besiktas side.
Yeah,
certainly. Yeah, but I think
sorry, go on.
No, yeah, I think they're better than any of the Fenerbahce or Galatasaray sides over the last couple of years as well.
The difference with those teams is those Fenerbahces and Galatasarays, they had wonderful stars, Van Persies, they had Schneiders. They had players like this, but they weren't a team. They had a star player like a quarterback, like a designated player almost, like MLS. But now this Besiktas team, and it's been building for several years. They come in like ever since whatchamacallit, the former West Ham manager, Slaven Bilic was manager. He built a kind of unit there, and they've a lot of investment into the team, and everything like that has happened as well. And they've kind of they've lost players every summer, every transfer window, and they just replaced them. Yeah. They build it up, and they've got good players there now. Pepe is there, experience in Europe is very
They seem like they are able to actually spend money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're the same as Shakhtar. Their goal is kind of quarterfinals to kind of get even beyond. You know, they think they can get out of the groups most years now. They want to go a step further than that and get to the quarterfinals. The luck of the draw's gone against them.
Yeah, Bayern are going to win.
I think they could have done it against most other teams.
Yeah.
You know,
if they had drawn Liverpool, they would have
But the
been.
thing is, with Besiktas, I think they'll be back. I don't
Oh, yeah.
think this
They'll be
is
back.
a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I agree. I don't think that this is like their only shot at it, but at the same time, I think it might be the only time they top their group. So it's a little unfortunate to see that sort of
they
reward.
Get Bayern Munich for it.
And it's not even, they didn't get any top seed, they got pretty much the toughest of the lot.
Yeah.
You know?
A team that suffered early in the season and then just has come back.
Yeah.
What did they, 18 points clear in Bundesliga?
I mean, at this point right now, they're probably the best form out of all the teams in the Champions
League.
League.
They're my favourite for the Champions League, certainly. And then the other match, Chelsea host Barcelona, which is it's a nice little throwback to the early 2000s where they just kept playing each other.
Those rivalry. They hate each other apparently.
Yeah, like Messi at one point said he preferred to lose to Real Madrid than Chelsea because it hurt more. I mean, it's not going to match the quality of those games, unfortunately.
No.
I don't think
it's going to be a dirty match.
I'd say it's going to be a lot closer to 2012 than it is to 2009.
Yeah, it's going to be a slog.
Yeah. Barcelona, surely. I mean, they've been in worse form recently. I think it would have helped Barcelona if this had come 3-4 weeks earlier.
They are still the best side in Europe this season, though.
Yeah.
They've lost one match this season, and it was a cup match. It was the first leg of a cup match, which they went through it.
Yeah,
but they've also
lost a tie like this season.
Yeah.
They've also had 2 or 3 draws recently, and I think unfortunately this Chelsea team, if they set up for a draw, they could spoil a game quite well. I think I think they're a solid defensive unit if that's what they focus on.
But Barcelona have been in bad form, or poor form by their standards.
Yeah,
Chelsea have been in terrible form.
Yeah, but a lot of before the Bournemouth and Watford games, they had 3-0 all draws in a row. And the problem there was scoring goals. Yeah. And I don't see them scoring goals easily against Barcelona by any means.
Yeah,
but I think Chelsea are still a team that are set up to deny other great teams. You know?
Yeah, they did do well against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
I don't think they're a similar side.
But what I'm saying,
that's like 2 rocks hitting.
But but that's what I'm saying. That because Barcelona are going so good going forward, it could hurt them against this Chelsea team because. Like, the year they won the league off being better than the lower teams and just being good enough to stop the big teams, you know? And I think, they're obviously not as good as this Barcelona team. But if you set up, 5 across the back, 2 defensive midfielders, let Hazard and Morata, try to do their best up front on their own. Because Hazard has the quality to get a goal like that. Morata... He's not in form, but he's,
he'll be up for playing. He'll
be up for playing.
Player.
Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't rule them out from scoring. Chelsea, I think that's how they're going to approach it. I think that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and repeat that sort of 2012 moment. I don't think they're going to win.
No.
But I do think it's a game that's more suited to them than it would look on the form table.
True. I'll give you some of those points, but this Barcelona team, they've drawn 2 consecutive matches, the worst form of the season.
Yeah.
One of those matches was ridiculous, and it was played in torrential rain. It was a dirty match, and they came back and they drew it against the derby against Espanyol, and then they drew 0-0 yesterday. The thing is, from both of those matches, you can tell that Messi wasn't starting.
Yeah,
they're resting ready. Players for this match.
I mean, the only thing Chelsea have to go on really is that Messi's never scored against them.
That seems to be all they have.
Yeah, at this point. But, Barcelona don't like Chelsea. Chelsea don't like Barcelona. It's one of those games where I'd say, anything could happen. I'd still expect Barcelona to win. They are the better team. They have the better players. They're better going forward. They're better defensively. They're just a better team. At the same time...
It's a cup match.
Yeah, it's a cup match. It's these two. If any team could beat a Barcelona team that are much better than them, I'd say it's Chelsea, So while I think Barcelona are probably the toughest team for anybody to play, I think for Barcelona, Chelsea are probably the worst draw. I think they would have preferred any other second tier team. Not because Chelsea are so good, but because of who the team are and, just how annoying they can be to play against.
Exactly, yeah.
So who do you think will go through in this tie?
Barcelona.
Yeah, I think it'll be
100%.
Barcelona. Having said all that,
having said all that, Chelsea have at best a 20% chance.
you made a good case, but I still think Barcelona.
No, like saying all of that, Chelsea need luck. 2012 they had it. They need discipline. They need tactical awareness. They need all the chips to fall in their favour.
Yeah.
They've got maybe 20-15% chance of doing it, which is I think more than they can reasonably expect.
Yeah. Conte's terrible in Europe as well.
That's
Yeah.
That's
He's
already
got a
decided.
poor record,
Luis Enrique's apparently agreed personal terms with Chelsea already to take over.
Yeah.
Chelsea's
the basket case. Barcelona will go through, and we'll have a very good quarter-final round, I'd say.
But then
I tried my best to make it interesting.
It'll be worth watching. But then
Yeah.
the final two matches then is the nice Europa League derby. The last two winners of the Europa League. Sevilla take on Manchester United.
Sevilla can't score any goals.
Either can Man United either.
But that plays into Mourinho. Mourinho's happily taking 2-0 draws and take his luck on penalties. Or
maybe sneaking away goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Mourinho's ability in Europe, his history in Europe, his experience.
It's a good draw for Man United.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure Man United could have beaten too many of the other. Too many of the other teams.
If they got Bayern Munich,
they could have drawn. Yeah,
this wouldn't have been a happy night.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of good teams in there on both sides of the draw, but at the same time, I think they should make it to the quarterfinals. Sevilla are a good team, but I wouldn't even back them against Porto. I wouldn't back them against some of the other weaker teams in this. I wouldn't back them against Besiktas. So if you're looking at United, I don't think United are all that great, but I think they're better than Sevilla.
Yeah, let's just say beat Sevilla.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great.
There we go.
And so we all think Man United will go through.
Yeah.
And then finally, the hipster's choice. We mentioned it earlier. Shakhtar Roma.
I mean, I'll be watching that game instead. I think it'll be a much better football game. Roma look good in the group stages, but have faded since in Serie A.
Shakhtar haven't played any matches.
So that that's always kind of been the problem for Ukrainian sides.
It's more like Shakhtar have taken a unique approach this year. Well, they do a lot since the last few years due to political unrest. That they're kind of absent from where they're from.
They're not
playing in Donetsk.
Exactly, because it's a complicated situation. But away from that, they're now using this winter time. They go away on training camps, and it becomes almost like a World Cup tournament team. So I think they'll be more together than previous, Eastern European sides approaching the knockout stages, which is encouraging. But Roma probably have too much for them.
I mean, it's hard to tell because I think if Roma had lost Dzeko, they'd be in trouble. Because I know he hasn't been great for them, but he scores goals, and he's got a star quality that I don't think any of the other players at Roma do.
And I think teams find form for the Champions League. They step up their game. Like once they hear that theme music, they're like, okay, this is the Champions League. We've
been talking about form a lot. A lot of that league form goes out of the window in the Champions League. Having said that, Shakhtar looked almost a better team in the group stages, I'd say.
Yeah, like they beat Napoli.
Yeah, they're just a good team. They're a flat out good all around team. They're very hard to play against in Ukraine, even if it's not technically their home pitch. I don't know. It's so tough to tell, really. I think like we said earlier. Like I said earlier, I think Porto's the most likely upset. I'm not calling either of these sides winning an upset because it's just I see this going either way.
So who do you give me a prediction here? Who's going to go through?
If I'm pushed right to the edge, I think that Roma's lack of recent European experience and Shakhtar's, the fact that they always play in Europe, the fact that they've been here before, the fact that they have gone and taken a bit of a different approach this year, I think it's all going to play into a little bit of advantage for Shakhtar.
Yeah, and of course Roma always collapse at some point during Europe. So
true.
It's due. It's always due.
Yeah.
So who do you think will go through, Andrew?
I will go for Roma, but I understand your points with Shakhtar.
I mean,
they play well.
I'm going to pick Shakhtar on this one as well, and I think we can all agree that we're really looking forward to this last season. The last 16 was great last season.
Quarterfinals even better.
Yeah, and then we'll peter out at the semi-final, and then it'll be a really dull final.
Yes, because everybody's too scared of losing by that point.
Yeah,
but I mean, this is we're seeing some really great attacking teams. We're seeing some really together defensive teams. We're seeing some really balanced teams. We're just seeing some great
Teams.
matchups. Teams.
Yeah.
We're seeing lots of teams.
everywhere.
We're seeing lots of teams. But I mean, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's the most hyped I've been for any Champions
Yeah, I've been
League.
looking forward to it since December.
Like even last year's Champions League, you know, I was looking forward to it. I was ready for it. This year, it's another level.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because last year was so entertaining.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that. Just one last note, that entertaining football, I think, proved to be better last year for most of it than defensive football. Because I mean, defensive football has been kind of in vogue recently. It's been what most teams doing well in Europe have been playing, and I think last year finally saw a turning point there. I'm really hoping that continues this year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and that's evidenced by Monaco as well,
and Man City and
Liverpool,
Napoli. They're all in there, even if they're not in the tournament anymore.
But that'll do us for our topic of the show. Join us after the break for a Guess the Player. Welcome back. We'll now close the show with Guess the Player. The concept's pretty simple. Matthias, you got to step up this week. I'm a mystery player for my two co-hosts to try and figure out who it is based off a list of former teammates, or maybe even current teammates, who knows, throughout this player's career. So are you guys ready?
Cool.
Laurent Blanc, Juan Fran, Filippo Inzaghi, Edgar Gudjonsson, Kaká, Esteban Cambiaso, Adrian Mutu.
I think I know who it is.
Oh no!
Okay, let me try let's give it
Okay. Oh god, I skipped half those names. So Laurent Blanc.
Yeah. Juan Fran.
I don't know any teams Juan Fran's played for.
He's at
Atletico
at the moment, yeah.
Juan Fran, Laurent Blanc, Adrian Mutu.
Yeah.
Edgar Johnson.
Yeah.
They both played at Chelsea at the same time. Kaká would have played at AC Milan and Real Madrid.
There's Cambiaso as well.
Cambiaso. Was Zanetti in there?
No.
Cambiaso. Cambiaso only played for Inter, really. And then, that 1 year at some English club, didn't he?
Leicester.
He was at Leicester.
Let's see. So Laurent Blanc is French. He's played for Inter, played for Man United, played for France, obviously, played for Barcelona. So, and he's obviously, I can't think of who else. Did he play for Juventus as well?
I think so.
I think he's had a year at Juventus, but I'm not sure.
Did he play Barcelona at the same time as Edgar Johnson?
No.
Yeah, he was retired.
I'd imagine it's a Chelsea player. I think I'll go for my guess now, just to make sure it's not wrong, because I'm worried about one particular player. Which
okay,
give me literally 5 seconds to
go on.
Just take a think about it, so I know what I'm saying. Otherwise,
I'm not sure if Andrew's right this time, so I'm
right,
willing to hear Andrew's.
No, but give us a hint then.
No. Let's hear your guess first.
Well, if I'm right, it kind of defeats the purpose.
No.
Go ahead.
Sure
Is it Juan Sebastian Veron?
It is not.
Oh, okay, because the Kaká.
Kaká,
he works for everyone with Kaká.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was thinking, is it Thiago?
No.
Okay,
give us a hint then.
Winner of 2 Ballon d'Ors.
Oh.
Then
2 Ballon d'Ors. He couldn't have played for Chelsea then, because I don't think Chelsea have had any former Ballon d'Or player.
They have had one, Ruud Gullit.
Yeah, but I mean in the time frame.
Yeah.
Because he didn't play at the same time as Gudjonsson and Mutu.
No.
So Gudjonsson almost certainly would have had to play with him at Barcelona then.
Yeah.
Which would fit with who's the other Barcelona player? Was Laurent Blanc?
Laurent Blanc wouldn't have played with him.
Time, yeah.
Unless he played with him
he's French.
No, and then the other, I think I might know who it is again.
Still give me a little bit more time. I mean, he's a Ballon d'Or winner. How many former Ballon d'Or winners are there? 2-time as well. That on its own should be enough.
That kind of eliminates. Give us the other hint.
Like there's Messi,
Do
Ronaldo.
you want one more hint?
One more hint.
He scored 247 goals in 343 appearances.
Maybe I don't know.
In his career.
The only 2-time Ballon d'Or winner.
I was going to say... Well, no, you say...
No, you go on.
Ronaldinho?
It's not Ronaldinho.
Yeah. That was what I was going to say.
Okay.
It's not Ronaldinho.
Yeah, and then I heard the goal record.
2 Ballon d'Ors.
Then I heard the goal record and I was saying couldn't be.
See, players who've won the Ballon d'Or. Shevchenko.
It's hardly Ronaldo, is it?
It is Ronaldo.
Fat Ronaldo.
Fat Ronaldo.
Poor Ronaldo.
Poor Ronaldo. Brazilian Ronaldo. The great fast
Did he
Ronaldo.
play with Good Johnson at Barca?
He, I don't think it was PSV. That's
PSV.
what it was. I just remember
Played with Eidur Gudjohnsen at PSV.
Yeah.
In 1995. Eidur Gudjohnsen
Roughly,
was
yeah.
at PSV.
That would sound about right because
Wow.
Good Johnson's 28, 29.
I thought Gudjohnsen started at Bolton
29.
No, he was
with
at
his
PSV.
dad. Where did he play with his dad?
Jesus.
I don't know. I've never
Or
heard
is
of
that
him
just
playing
for
with
the
his dad.
They didn't play together for the Icelandic team. It
One
was
came
a whole
off for
big-
the other.
Yeah, and they never got to play together.
Anyway, Eidur Gudjohnsen.
That is,
Well done, Matthias.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Well done.
There were two more clues. He scored 62 goals in 98 appearances for his country, and then this one would have obviously given it away. He scored 15 goals in the World Cup
Yeah.
throughout his career.
Close.
Yeah. I'm just trying to
He
think.
got 60.
When did he play for Mutu?
He played with Mutu at Inter Milan, I think.
Was
No,
Mutu at Inter?
at AC
Or
Milan.
was it AC Milan? Yeah, okay.
When at the end of Ronaldo's career.
Yeah, he did go. He was the number
right.
99.
Yeah.
I remember-
Mewtwo,
yeah.
Mewtwo was there at the same time.
I think so, yeah.
Have you checked these players?
Yeah, no, I made sure this is alright.
Yeah,
I just
'cause
did
I
it
mean-
a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
that was why I wasn't sure of it because he fit the other with Inter and Barca.
Yeah.
I had thought that Barca was the same time as Good Johnson for whatever reason. Wow.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
You
thank
got it this week.
I finally stepped up my game.
Fair play.
I always enjoy when
that-
it takes you a few guesses to get it.
I mean, that was tough.
Andrew having it within 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, I thought it was Varane, but Kaká. It worked for every player but Kaká. Because
Varane
Varane,
is Argentinian, isn't he? He's
yeah,
not
but
Brazilian.
he played with every one of those players except for Kaká.
By just sheer coincidence.
Yeah,
Was he at Barcelona as well? Same time?
No.
Who did he play with? Oh, of course, Chelsea. Good
Chelsea.
Johnson,
Yeah.
and Man United.
Man
He had a lot of
United,
those
yeah.
players as well.
Well, that will close the show. Thank you for listening, and if you want to get in touch, you can at the email thetfpod@gmail.com for any questions on our topic of the show or any player suggestions for Guess the Player. I'm all ears. You can follow us on Twitter at the TFPod. Follow me on Twitter at CheesyHairPod and follow Andrew at Conmon27. Please subscribe, rate, review, whatever platform of your choice, and spread the word about the show. Tell family, friends, your cat, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. That's what we always say here at the TF Pod. So until next time.
When have we ever said that?
That's the first time. The first time.
Right, we always said from now on. Starting this
Exactly.
moment, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
So thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening.